You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The Options Insider Radio Network is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. At Fidelity, you'll always get a great value for your options trades. And with powerful investing tools that provide clear next steps, plus independent research and a wide range of investment types, we can help you make better trading decisions. Learn more about options trading with Fidelity at fidelity.com/options. Options trading entails significant risk and is not appropriate for all investors. Certain complex option strategies carry additional risk. Before trading options, contact Fidelity Investments by calling 800-544-5115 to receive a copy of the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, December 11th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Tuesday. The first thing to know today is U.S. and China kick off a new round of trade talks. The United States and China kicked off the latest round of trade talks during a telephone call between U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and U.S. Representative Robert Lighthizer and Chinese Vice Premier Liu He. China's Commerce Ministry, in a brief statement, said Liu had spoken to Mnuchin and Lighthizer on Tuesday morning, Beijing time. The 3 senior officials discussed Chinese purchases of agricultural products and changes to fundamental Chinese economic policies, including the Made in China 2025 plan during the phone call, according to people familiar with the conversation. Both sides exchanged views on putting into effect the consensus reached by the 2 countries' leaders at their meeting and pushed forward the timetable and roadmap for the next stage of economic and trade consultations work, the ministry said. U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed last week to hold off on additional tariffs on each other's goods for 90 days in order to allow negotiations to continue. Lighthizer said on Sunday that unless U.S.-China trade talks wrap up successfully by March 1st, new tariffs would be imposed. Second thing to know today is May heads to Europe amid Brexit turmoil. Adding to the uncertainty in markets, British Prime Minister Theresa May abruptly postponed a parliamentary vote on her Brexit agreement on Monday, raising the risk of a chaotic exit from the European Union. With her position in jeopardy, May said she would now go back to the EU and seek reassurances over the so-called Irish backstop, an insurance policy to ensure no return to a hard border on the island of Ireland. May will first meet with Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte and German Chancellor Angela Merkel ahead of an EU summit on Thursday and Friday. The third thing to know today is U.S. stock futures pointed to a higher open. The U.S. stock futures pointed to a higher open, pre-open this morning, as a fresh whiff of optimism over the U.S.-China trade dispute lifted sentiment. Fourth thing to know today is oil prices tick higher ahead of API report. In commodities, oil prices ticked higher ahead of the release of fresh weekly data on U.S. commercial crude inventories. The American Petroleum Institute was due to release its weekly report for the week ended December 7th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, That's amid expectations of a drop of about 2.9 million barrels. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 41 cents, or 0.8%, to $51.41 a barrel. Meanwhile, international Brent crude oil futures rose 48 cents, or 0.8%, to $60.45 per barrel. Fifth thing to note today is PPI data is ahead. On the data front, today's calendar has brought investors the November report on producer prices at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. That was looking to give clearer signs on the pace of inflation. Producer prices were expected to have risen 0.1% last month and 2.5% over the prior year, according to estimates. Excluding the cost of food and fuel, core producer price inflation is projected to climb 2.5% on a year-over-year basis. The U.S. dollar index was down 0.25% at 96.93. In the bond market, U.S. Treasury yields inched higher, with the benchmark 10-year note standing at 2.88%, while the yield on U.S. government bonds with 2-year maturities was at 2.75%. The Federal Reserve is widely expected to announce its fourth rate hike of 2018 next week, but investors are beginning to question how many increases it can implement next year. While policymakers have pointed to 3 increases in 2019, the market is starting to bet the U.S. Central Bank may halt rate hikes altogether next year. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Tuesday, December 11th, 2018, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Trade smart and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.